All right, y'all. Rickey Smiley Morning Show, 24 minutes after the hour, y'all. All in the Fight for Democracy in theaters now worldwide on Amazon Prime Video on September the 18th, 2020. The release is timed ahead of National Voter Registration Day on September the 22nd. Please help me welcome New York Times best-selling author, political leader, activist, and Spelman alum. Y'all show your love right now for Stacey Abrams. Stacey, how you doing?
I'm well. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for having me today.
No, good morning. We are so happy to have you. Thank you for coming on. A lot of stuff going on. Congratulations on your new documentary, All In, The Fight for Democracy, which is now in theaters. What made you decide to do this project?
When I did not become governor in 2018, I was approached by a couple of producers to do a documentary about the race. I was like, I was there. I don't need to do that again. But I did want to connect the dots between what happened to me in 2018 and what's happening around this country and the history of voter suppression. But most importantly, I wanted a documentary that really helped explain why we have to keep fighting for our democracy, because too many people have not only faced voter suppression, but defeated it. And if we keep believing we can win, we can take our country back.
All right, I can't wait to see this documentary, Ms. Abrams. There's been a lot of controversy surrounding the upcoming November election. People want to know, is it safe to mail in their ballots or should they go vote in person?
They should make a plan and they should start with trying to mail in their ballot. So today is actually request your ballot day. So today is a great day to vote by mail. And here's why. We have to remember that they're trying to scare us out of voting by mail because they know that that's the safest and most accessible way to vote. We have seen what they've tried to do, and we fought back. And so people need to begin by thinking about voting by mail. You can vote by mail with no excuses in 41 states. And if you go to allinforvoting.com or vote.org, you can go ahead and request your mail-in ballot today. It'll get sent to you. And if that doesn't work for any reason, then the next step is to see if you can vote early in your state. We've got 40 states that will let you vote early. And then if that doesn't work, then just prepare to go to vote on Election Day. But we need to make a plan to vote, and we should start by trying to vote early. Do not let them make us panic. Let's keep our heads and vote by mail because it's safe, it's accessible, and it lets those people who don't have a choice about voting in person, it makes it safer for them as well.
Wow. Well, there are also a lot of concerns about foreign interference in this November election. So what do we do to prevent that, considering what happened the last election?
Unfortunately, we can't stop foreign interference without the act of Congress, and the Republicans in the Senate refuse to take this seriously. And we know, unfortunately, Donald Trump is inviting sometimes, or at least refusing to act on what he knows is foreign interference. But the best way to defeat interference is to overwhelm them at the polls and to participate. Because what foreign interference tries to do, especially in the black community, the goal is to scare us out of participation, to make us so afraid of the outcome or how difficult it is that we stay away. If we actually make a plan to vote and if we participate at record levels, we defeat foreign interference. We don't let them steal our voices and steal our choices.
You said a mouthful right there. Now, yesterday, audio tapes were leaked of President Trump, and everybody saw he was speaking how deadly COVID-19 was back in January and wanting to downplay it to the American people. Just want to know what your thoughts are on that.
I've said it before, Donald Trump is a coward in chief. This is a man who would rather hide his responsibility and hide from his responsibility than take the lead and tell people what we need to do. And that's why I know I'm supporting Joe Biden. I believe we need a man of competence and moral vision to be our leader, someone who actually believes in science. But what's more damning about what Donald Trump has done is that he lied to the American people, not because he was trying to protect us, but because he was afraid of the truth. And no one should be in charge when they're afraid of doing what they should do.
So, Ms. Abrams, National Voters Registration Day is September the 22nd. So where can people go to check their voting status and get polling information?
So All In for Voting, the documentary is, so the documentary All In, the Fight for Democracy, we've created this amazing website called allinforvoting.com. If you go there, you can find out if you're registered, you can get registered, you can find out information about your polling place, you can request your mail-in ballot. and you can get all of the information about the rules where you live. This is a national fight. We may live in different states, but we're all in this together. And so if they go to allinforvoting.com, it's an amazing website. I'm so grateful to not only the directors of the film, Liz Garbus and Lisa Cortez, but our distributor, Amazon. They've done an amazing job of helping lift up the importance of voting in this election. Regardless of your party, democracy belongs to all of us, and we need to participate.
Absolutely. And speaking about making our voice heard, the U.S. Census happens every 10 years. And Trump is trying to cut the deadline early for about a month this year. Explain how important it is for every single person to fill out the census for their household.
So the census is how we tell the story of who we are as Americans and what we need. And what I tell folks is if you have a cell phone or a utility bill, they already know how to find you. The census is how they know what you need. And it's so important heading into 2021 that we get this right, because the census is going to determine how billions of dollars in COVID recovery get spent. But if we don't get counted, we don't get those dollars. We know that the expected undercount of Black and brown communities will cost us $8 billion a year. That's money that doesn't just go back into the coffers. That's money that goes to those really wealthy neighborhoods you drive through because they got counted. It also determines our political power. And unfortunately, the Trump administration is intentionally trying, and I'm going to quote them, they're trying to make the United States look whiter and more Republican. The only way we can fight back is by filling out the census. And don't wait for them to come knock on your doors. One of the reasons we're concerned about the artificial end, cutting it, to your point, by 30 days, is that they're not sending the door knockers to your door. So tell your friends, tell your family, and tell yourself. Fill out the census. You can go online to my2020census.gov. You can pull the phone number when you're on that website, and then share the phone number with any of your friends and family that don't have the internet. But we have got to fill out the census. Right now, the Black community is being undercounted by almost 15%. If they erase 15% of us from the story of America, we lose our money, we lose our Pell Grants, we lose SNAP, we lose housing, we lose roads and bridges. That's what all the money, $1.5 trillion for 10 years, every year. That's like not getting your stimulus check every day.
Wow.
And knowing it's going to your enemy.
We're talking to New York Times bestselling author, political leader, activist Stacey Abrams. Can you repeat this? Because this is very important. For those who still have not completed the census, how do they go about doing that? Repeat that information one more time, please.
If you go to my2020census.gov, you can fill it out online. If you have friends or neighbors who can't do it online, there's a phone number you can call, and the number is on the website, and so you can just give them that phone number. There are people waiting to take your calls to get this information. But we have to believe, and I'm not just being histrionic, the Republicans, especially Donald Trump, there was a memo they used that said that if they undermine the census for the first time in American history, if they undermine the census, they can make the United States look whiter and more Republican. I don't care about who you are. I care about who we are as a country, and we should not mess with the one thing that is nonpartisan, counting who's here. That is about telling the story of America, and it's about predicting our future. And if we're not counted, we are counted out.
There it is. Like if people want to reach you, or to get more information on your movement with Fair Fight 2020, where can they go?
So on voter suppression, you go to fairfight2020.org. And if you want to do something about the census in your neighborhood, it's faircount.org. Trying to make it really easy. If you want to fight for democracy, go to Fair Fight. If you want to fight for this, if you want a fair count in the census, go to Fair Count. My mission is to make sure that we have a democracy that works for all of us, and that means all of us have to be included, all of us have to be heard, and particularly in this moment of racial reckoning, if they can count us out of the census and if they can keep us out of the polling places, they know that our protests won't matter. We have to protest in the streets, protest at the ballot boxes, and show who we are by filling out the 2020 census.
And this off the cuff, Georgia is one of the probably the biggest state when it comes to voter suppression, and probably number 2, Florida. If you had to guess number 3 and number 4, what are some other big voter suppression states in the United States?
Yeah, we know that Texas is a horrible state. They recently got sued to let you vote online. They won't let you vote by mail just because of COVID. We know that Wisconsin has had some challenges. Unfortunately, the Democratic governor has been sued multiple times by the state legislature to make it harder. Sadly, in Ohio, there are some issues. They're trying to stop you from being able to use drop boxes to return your vote by mail applications. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter who's worse if we fight back. Because one of the ways voter suppression works the best is when you become convinced it's so hard, it's not worth fighting back. And my mission, I didn't get to be governor, but my responsibility, the reason I did this film was that if that story had just been about me, then it's about a politician and you can ignore it. It's about the thousands of Georgians whose voices were stolen.
Right.
That's the problem I have. It's about the millions of Americans who cannot be heard because they face rules that are so complicated. So if you go to allinforvoting.com, we can tell you what the rules are in your state so you can beat them at their own game and we can make sure our democracy works for us.
There it is, y'all. Don't miss All In, the Fight for Democracy in theaters, now in streaming worldwide on Amazon Prime Video on September the 18th. Thank you so much for all that you do, Stacey. We really appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all please give it up and show your love for the one and only Stacey Abrams. Thank you, Stacey.